while back, was an alcoholic. Had a mental breakdown like a year ago. Came close to put me in a coffin.
Morning, y'all know what it is, man. Jay Williams, let's live life. Back. A little tired, man. I didn't get a lot of good sleep last night, so bear with me, but the content must roll on. So before we start, same thing we do every time, man. If you ain't subscribed already and you continue to watch, you should probably subscribe. So go ahead and take a moment, hit subscribe. Did you do that? Do you know how to find it? Okay, cool. Next, I need you to hit a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Whatever you're feeling. If you don't like the video, hit the thumbs down. But go ahead and do one of the two. If you don't like me, I don't care if you hit thumbs down. Just do something. Did you hit it? Okay, cool. Turn the notifications on and make sure you leave a comment, man. I don't know who's watching. You know, I'm not searching down at everybody that's watching. So if you're watching, you got something to say, you feel some type of way, you got something you want to get off your chest, today is the day. Now is the time. Get it out there. All right, cool. So I haven't done a lot of videos on prison lately. I did one yesterday, and that was cool and all, but I wanted to touch on something that I feel is a little more personal that people can relate to. Something I personally had to deal with a lot in prison, which is what happens when people get sick. Today we're going to touch on people locked up with cancer. And to anybody that's ever lost anyone to cancer, any type of disease or illness, my heart goes out to you. It's a terrible thing to watch. So we're going to jump right into it, man. The first one is about a guy named Mr. Peebles. And Mr. Peebles was a good man. I might have touched on this in the past, but you know, in memory of him, we'll do it again. Mr. Peebles was, I'd say late 50s, early 60s, older black man. True convict. Been down a long time. All he knew was prison. Had a life sentence, was never going home. And, you know, like I said, he'd been in prison most of his life. 60-some years old. I know he had done 35 plus years already, you know, on that bed. Well, Mr. Peebles was real quiet, man. He didn't ask anybody for anything. He didn't never get no visits. You never saw him on the phone. You never seen a piece of mail stop by his door when they passed out mail. None of that. It was just him and prison. That was his world. He had no other world but prison. It had become his reality, his everyday, his norm. That was Mr. Peebles' life. Them four walls, that cell that he had set up the way that made him feel as comfortable as you can be in that type of situation. Like I said, he was a quiet man. He didn't talk to a lot of people. He slept a couple cells down from me. And at the time, I was on top tier, cell 223. And like I said, this took place at Greensville. This was probably 2009, it was 2009. And I don't remember exactly how yes I do. I remember how me and Mr. Peebles became friends. I had a homeboy named Jimmy that was in the cell with Mr. Peebles. And I would always go to the cell and talk to Jimmy and just bullshit at the door. You know, I didn't really go in there much because he shared a cell with another man. You don't disrespect like that, you know what I mean? Don't nobody want you all up in the cell already. It's too tight as it is. You don't need 3 people in there when you got 2. It's limited space. So over time of, you know, dealing with Jimmy and going to his cell, I remember I just started talking to Mr. Peebles. I stopped by one day. Jimmy wasn't there, and I was like, what's up, man? And, you know, we just got to kicking it. He pretty much told me he had a life sentence, that, you know, he wasn't who he once was, but that didn't really matter because he wasn't never going home. So we fast forward, man, and Jimmy gets out and goes away, but I kind of got a soft spot for Mr. Peebles, man. He's a cool dude. Dude's got a good heart. He don't talk to nobody. He works enterprise while he's in prison, so he takes care of himself. He gets his little check each month, maybe 100-some bucks, and he knows how to break it down to where he's got all his cosmetics. He's got a certain amount of coffee, a certain amount of food. He knows how to survive. So like I said, I continue to kick it with Peebles. And I would go by each day and check on him. Like, what's up, old man? You all right? Just bullshitting with him. He'd laugh, would joke, smile. And, you know, he'd tell me about how he never had a chance to have any kids, and that was something he regretted. Never had a chance to get married. It was something he regretted. He got locked up before all that. Said he had girlfriends and stuff, but that was it. And he said, my family they went away. He said they were there for about the first 15, 20 years, but then they just, you know, went away. I guess to them I was dead. They knew I was never coming out. People weren't going to keep sending me money and wasting their times at Walgreens, CVS, or whatever, getting cards. He's like, so I ain't heard from nobody in years, man. I don't even know what's going on. He's like, I don't even have a number to call if something was to happen, or, you know, I wanted to talk to somebody. And it's crazy because something did happen. Mr. Peebles, all of a sudden, man, I would come by his cell. This went on for like weeks. And at the time, we could still smoke in prison. And this man smoked. When I mean he smoked all day. Light cigarettes with cigarettes. Like boredom, habit. So he's a chain smoker, and I went by his cell, and he just wasn't much for conversation, man. It was kind of like I was talking to myself, so I'd be like, all right, man, well, I don't know what's up with you, so I'm just going to peel out. Well, eventually, I go down there to talk to him one day, and he's sitting on his bunk, and he's got his head down. I'm like, man, what's going on with you, man? You ain't talking to me. Like, you all right? Did you get some bad news or something? I know you said you don't talk to nobody, but, I mean, you dealing with something? You on your period? Like, what's up with you? And he just kind of looked up at me with these blank eyes. And he was like, Jay, I have cancer. And I always try to see the best in things, even when I know there's not a lot of good in it. I'm just that person. So I stood there for a minute, not really sure of what to say, because you kind of got to think before you speak in situations like that. And I was like, you have cancer? He was like, yeah, I've got cancer. And I was like, well, what kind of cancer you got? And he was like, I have lung cancer. And I noticed he was coughing really, really bad. But I thought the coughing was because this man was smoking roll-up cigarettes. He was smoking non-filtered tobacco, you know what I mean? Just straight to the head and non-stop. And I was like, all right. I said, well, man, shit, you caught it. You know, you can fight it. It's beginning stages. And he was like, no, it's not in beginning stages. He's like, they say I've had this for a while and that I'm going to die. And I was like, nah, you're not gonna die, man. You ain't come this far in prison, lived this long to be taken out by something like cancer while in prison. Like, at this point, I hadn't really heard of people, you know, I'd heard of people that had cancer, but I hadn't heard of people I knew that I was close to, you know, dying of cancer. And they started the treatment on him. And I don't know what it is, I don't know if it's radiation or what, man, but he went downhill fast. He went from, you know, being a good sized man to just a frail shell of a man, not even looking like himself. Like face sunk in, head sunk in. Like his skin looked like you could just pull it and stretch it, and it would, you know what I mean, just stay there. Like you could see his bones, his shoulders. And I didn't ever speak on it because I knew he saw it. Everybody else saw it. And I just kind of tried to, you know, keep the best attitude I could for him, man, to try to just hoping it would encourage him to get up and do more. Because as his treatment went on, Mr. Peebles, he wasn't eating, wasn't going to work. He didn't do much but lay in his bed all day. So I would go there every evening, man, and I'd be like, and a lot of times I'd bring my food, or I'd be like, you want me to make you something to eat? Nah, I'm not really hungry. I'm like, I'm not trying to hear that, man. You gotta eat, man. You can't just sit there and not eat. That's gonna mess you up. So I'd prep his meals, man. Go out to the microwave, cook his meals, stand in line, whatever, man. Make sure you had ice water. And I'd bring it back and forth to him, back and forth every day. I'd go there the next day to make him something to eat, and the food from last night would still be sitting there with maybe a small piece of it like bit off. And usually it would be, you could see it would spit back out, or it'd be in a napkin balled up on the edge of his little desk. So we fast forward, man, and I'm now aware that Mr. Peebles is gonna die. Like if the dehydration and starvation doesn't kill him, whatever they're doing to him when they take him to the hospital is definitely killing him. So it's out the blue, man. One night we are locked down. It's probably 12:30, 1 o'clock. His new cellie is yelling for the guards in them, and the guards come up to the cell, and I can hear, like I said, they're a couple doors down, and he's like, he's not doing good, man. This dude he's not really moving much. He doesn't look like he's breathing right. Like, y'all need to come get him and get him to the infirmary. And so they come down there, the nurse comes in, I hear him talking, and they're not talking loud at this point. It was just loud when the cellie was yelling out to the COs. So I can't really hear what's going on, man. But I got my mirror, and I got it stuck out the door, and I'm watching what's going on. Because, you know, you can put the mirror out the door and see all the way down the chair. And I'm watching down at his cell, and more COs are coming, more nurses are coming. And then they start leaving. And then this one nurse comes, and a CO, and they get him in a wheelchair. And I'm watching, and I see that when he comes out of his cell, he's got a whole bunch of stuff in his lap. And he stops at my door, and he bangs. And he used to call me Youngin. He'd be like, Youngin, what up with you? So I go to, I'm already at the door, but I don't want to be seen and nosy, so I act like I'm not at the door, and I come up like, what's up, man? What you doing? He's like, this is it, man. It's over. I said, it's over? What do you mean it's over, man? It's never over. It's not over till it's over. He was like, yeah, today's the day, man. I'm going home. I said, you going home? I knew exactly what he meant. I mean, he was going home to be with the Lord. And I was like, nah, that ain't today, man. You too damn mean, man. You know what I mean? You Mr. Peoples, you ain't going nowhere. So he was like, look, man, I want you to have this stuff. And dickhead CEO was like, oh, you can't be passing stuff back and forth amongst each other. Mr. People just gave him this look like, you know, y'all gonna throw my stuff in the trash here shortly anyway. I'm gonna be dead. So he hands me this stack of CDs, man. He liked blues. Just old blues, Crocker and stuff like that. So I take him and I'm like, man, I don't want your stuff, man. He hands me a CD player, these headphones that he'd had for a long time. These Fila shower shoes, which are like slides, his Bible, and he gave me his rosary, and a couple other small things, man. And I said, look, I'm gonna hold this stuff for you, man. You'll be back. And when you come back, I'll just give it to you. You're not gonna die, man. You're not. And in my mind, I'm hoping he doesn't die, but you can see it. Like he struggled to lift this stuff up and hand it to me through my door. So I told him, and I said, man, damn, man. I said, look, I'll see you when you get back, man. I'm not even gonna say goodbye, because you're coming back. They just gonna get some IVs in, you know what I mean? You'll be right. He rolls off. Next day, about, I guess it was right after lunch, probably around 12:30, I see him roll the card in, and they go down to his cell, and they're taking the sheets off his bed, they're throwing all this stuff in the trash bag, and they're packing his stuff up. So I go down to the cell, and I'm like, what's up, man? Y'all keeping Mr. Peoples in the infirmary? And the CO was actually a cool CO. She looks back at me, she's like, nah, he's not in the infirmary. I said, well, where's he at then? And she was like, I can't really say. I was like, you can't say, he's my friend. Like, he ain't got no family. Why you can't tell me what happened to him? And she's like, look, I can't say, it's against policy. I can't discuss another inmate with you. And I was like, man, that's crazy, man. I'm like the only thing he had, the only person he knew. So she finishes packing his stuff up, and as she's leaving, I'm standing in my doorway smoking a cigarette, and she stops, and she's like, Mr. Peoples passed away at 2 o'clock this morning. And I was like, damn. She was like, yeah, I wasn't there. She's like, I found out about it. Shift change. But they said he went peacefully. That, you know, he told the nurses and them that he was tired, that he laid back in the bed, and within a matter of minutes, he was dead. Cancer had killed him. That was kind of a rough thing to deal with. You know what I mean? When you get close to somebody like that and you watch him die. So yeah, shout out in the memory of Mr. Peoples, man. Rest in peace, moment of silence. Alright, so the next one, man, I know this shit is dreary and gloomy. It's a gloomy day outside, so that's how I was feeling. But I gotta give it to y'all, man. Y'all gotta know what really happens inside these places, because if I don't tell you, nobody will. Or you'll get it and it'll be half-assed. So the next one was 2013. And it's towards the end of 2013, like October, November. And I'm now at a place called Indian Creek Correctional Center, which I never should have been. I don't know how I ended up there, but they somehow put me there for re-entry. When you get within 2 years of going home, they try to put you somewhere that's re-entry. The place ain't even close to my house. So it's a dorm setting. I'd never done prison in a dorm setting. I'd always been locked in a cell. Everybody locks down at night, you know. Wasn't used to this dorm thing. But right off the rip, man, I had a clique of dudes I linked up with that, you know, solid dudes, man. I like to work out. So right out the gate, I'm gonna find me a workout squad. I'm gonna look around, see who goes hard, which, you know, of these dudes can actually lift the weight I can lift. You know, I can't be on a squad where everybody's lifting 175 because I'm not gonna get no gains over there. You know, I ain't got nobody can even spot me with a 315. So I find my squad, man, and right off the rip, I link up with this dude named Fly. That Fly is like, he's kind of Oriental looking Vietnamese, but you can tell he's like Vietnamese and white. He's just got that look to him, but he doesn't look like, you know, full Vietnamese. Didn't speak Vietnamese, none of that. Straight American dude. That was his ancestry. So Fly was a pretty strong dude, man. You know, I'd be throwing up for 315. He'd get 285, 255, no problem. We build, man. Me and this dude, we smoke bud together, walk laps together, we kick it, man. I found out about his kids and his mom, and you know, he was in there because when he was on the streets, he was on heroin, and he went and bought some heroin one night. Him and his girl did it. They passed out. He woke up, she was dead. So he, of course, called the police. Police showed up, took his phone, went through his messages, found out he was the one that bought it, and boom, that was it. I mean, took him, sent him to prison 5 years. And this is a man that, you know, never been in trouble. The heroin would have definitely led him to trouble. But you would think that losing someone you loved and having to live with the guilt of that the rest of your life would be enough punishment. That's not how they felt. So he gets his 5 years, me and him link up, boom, we're friends. Fast forward months, 6, 7 months, me and this dude are just rocking together every day, man. This is my dude. I go to his bed area, sit there, we'll eat, watch TV, listen to music, share earbuds. I get a magazine, I pass it off to him. He gets a magazine, he passes it off to me. If he's got an issue, I got an issue. You know what I mean? If I got an issue, he's got an issue. It's my man. It's my dude, man. So I go to work out one day, and it's just like, you know, usually he's waiting at my bed with his towel, you know, his stuff to drink, his headphones, his CD player, and he's like, you know, usually on point. Come on, let's go, let's get this bench before everybody else gets out there. Not this day, man. This day, he's not feeling good. And I go over to his bed, and I'm like, what's up with you? Yo, I mean, you gonna lay in here all day and just, you know, get fat and eat honey buns? She's like, nah, man, I don't feel good, man. He's like, my stomach and chest hurt. I'm not feeling good, Jay. And I was like, man, you might have caught something. But you know what? I ain't trying to get sick anyway, so keep your sick ass in here. I'm going outside to lift weights. I'll check on you when I get back in. Go out, do my routine. I come in, he's still in the bed. Next day, still in the bed. Third or fourth day, I tell her, come on, man, you gotta get up, man. I ain't even about to deal with this. You gonna get up, man. You ain't trying to do nothing. You can't just lay here. So I help him up, and I can feel as I help him up that he ain't got the strength under his legs that I know he has. You know what I mean? I've seen him squat hella weight, and this man ain't got he can't muster the energy he should have. So we never worked out again, and I noticed immediately that he was dropping weight. And when I mean dropping, I mean this is like in a week or two's time. It's like if, you know, I didn't know who he was, I could walk right past him and not recognize him. He was losing that much weight this fast. So one night in particular, man, he's in the bathroom and somebody comes to get me. They're like, yo, your homeboy just fell out, man. Something's wrong with him. So I'm like, the fuck? Boom, I hop up, I run to the bathroom, and he's thrown up in the toilet. And in the toilet, it's like food, but there's splotches of blood. And I'm like, man, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is this? This shit ain't normal. So I'm like, you all right? He's like, I need a doctor, man. I need a nurse, Jay. I'm hurting inside. So I go to the booth, I bang on the glass. I'm like, yo, Fly needs a doctor, man. He's throwing up blood. Somebody else comes over and flushes the toilet because they didn't want to see this shit, which they should have left it there because it might have made a difference if the nurse or the doctor seen it and realized he wasn't just talking. You know what I mean? So they come in, oh, get up, ain't nothing wrong with you, blah blah blah. They don't never want to do anything for you. Lazy bitches, man. They just want to sit in the booth all day, yell orders, write charges, shake shit down, but they don't really want to do anything that's going to require them to invest a couple hours. So they take him on over to the doctor, man, and he comes back the same night. About an hour later, they didn't do nothing. Doctor told him, oh, you got kidney stones. Kidney stones? This man is dropping weight, like, you know what I mean? He's the plug, like, I mean kidney stones. Fast forward, man. Not eating, kind of like Mr. Peebles, and it's just withering away. Eventually, he goes in the bathroom, and he doesn't have much strength at this point. And I've been snapping every day, man. I'm cussing guards out. Y'all ain't shit. This man is messed up. Y'all talking about some kidney stones. He ain't got no damn kidney stones. Look at him. Y'all know what he looks like usually. Look at him. What is y'all doing, man? How can you sleep at night knowing these people are going through this and y'all ain't doing nothing about it? Y'all make me sick. Y'all need just fucking head cracks. You know what I mean? I hope you die, bitch. Like, I was that angry. And one night I helped him, man. He's like, yeah, I gotta use the bathroom, man, but I don't think I can get there. And our bunks, there was a locker in between our bunks, and our bunks were back to back. And then there's, you know, two lockers that separate us. And at first he was just kind of tapping on the locker. And his bunkie was like, yo, Fly wants you. So I peeked over. I'm like, what's up, Fly? He's like, I gotta use the bathroom, Jake. You know what I mean? Like kind of whispering, I guess, because of pride thing. And I was like, yeah, man, I got you. So I hop up real quick. I'm in some shorts. I throw on some sweatpants, throw on a white beater, put my boots on. I'm like, come on, help him up. Get him to the bathroom, man. As soon as I get him to the bathroom, I'm thinking he's got to take a shit or something. You know what I mean? Or piss or something. But I thought he had to take a shit. He immediately throws up. And when he throws up this time, it's not a little bit of blood. It's a lot of blood. And this time, it don't go in the toilet. It hits the toilet. Boom. Hits the sides of the wall. Hits all over the floor. And he just like crumbles in my arms. So I hold him. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, yo, bang on the booth. Get the nurse, man. Tell them we need a nurse. Fuck them COs. Tell them COs get the nurses. So they come in there and immediately like, we ain't doing this shit again. Oh, here y'all go again. Always blah, blah. Then they open the door and they see the amount of blood. And they're like, we need a nurse. We need doctors over here now. They come on in, man. They put him on a stretcher. And I'm like, you all right, soldier? He's like, yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, trying to smile as much as he can. And they take him up out of there. Now, what I didn't tell y'all, I have to go back real quick because this is important. I was in a visiting room a few weeks earlier, and his family was in there, and I'd met his family before. He introduced me, and he hadn't come in yet. And I got up from where I was sitting with my mom. I said, hold on a minute, Mom. I went over to his table to talk to his mom and his two sons. I said, look, I know y'all don't talk to Fly much, but I need to prepare y'all. He's lost a lot of weight. I said, something's wrong, man. He's sick, and they're not doing anything for him. Y'all need to get on that phone, call up here, call who y'all got to call, and y'all need to raise hell because he is sick. Like, he's doing bad. And they're like, she's like, all right, thank you. And the sons, you know, they're just sitting there looking at me. And I going back to my table and I see him come in and his people are just looking at him like, and I think that since he had a history of doing heroin on the streets, they were more or less thinking, oh, he's getting high again. You know what I mean? So he sits down, but his kids, you can see they know something's wrong. They're looking at him. They're teared up. His one son keeps hugging him and trying to sit in his lap, and the CEOs tell him get out of his lap. So back to where we were, they take him out on the stretcher and take him over to the infirmary. He doesn't come back. I go to the captain. I said, look, man, my homeboy's in the infirmary. I need to know what's going on with him. And he was like, yeah, I've seen him. He's in the back. He's asked about you. He wanted to see you. He wanted you to come over. I said, can I go over? And he was like, yeah. And he already knew what was going on. He just didn't tell me because I guess, like I said, it's policy. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to set something up each night that you can go over there from 7 to 8 and sit and kick it with him, man, because he's not in no trouble or nothing, so he doesn't deserve to be isolated. I said, yeah, man, that's what's up. Appreciate it. So that night, 7 o'clock rolls around. I'm ready at 6:30. I go to the booth. I'm like, yo, pop the door, let me out. I got to head to the infirmary. What you going to the infirmary for? I'm going to see Fly. Ain't no notes in my stuff about letting you out to go to the infirmary. I said, man, open the door. Stop playing with me. Like, let me go see my homeboy. So she radios over, and they're like, yeah, William's supposed to come down here. So I go down to the infirmary, and I sit in a little waiting shed, and I go to the back room, and it's just a cell. That's all it is. And I go in, and I'm like, man, what's up, Fly? What's wrong with you, man? Like, stop with the bullshit. What's up? He's like, I have pancreatic cancer, man. And he's like, it hurts. It hurts so bad. He's like, they got me on all these medicines, man, and I'm still in pain. It feels like my insides are just rotten and on fire. And I'm like, oh, man, fuck, man, here we go again. You know what I mean? So I come down there every single night, you know, and it must have been probably 3 weeks. Every night I would come down there and we'd sit. I couldn't get him to really laugh, but I'd just sit and tell him what was going on. Yo, such and such got beat up yesterday. He got smashed on the basketball court. The Bloods just beat up one of their own because they caught him messing with the boy Travis Potts. You know what I mean? This is happening, man. You know, I'm almost to the 335. I'm just kicking it with him, trying to, you know, hold conversation with him. Bring the Maxim magazines, FHM, reading the jokes out of them and the articles, and just trying to be a good friend, man. And he had told me, he said, look, I've got less than 90 days, man, before I get out. And I'm trying to go home on emergency hospice to spend my last days with my mom and my boys, man. I just want to get home to my family, man. I don't want to die in here, Jay. I don't deserve to die in here. And so I continue seeing him, and I come in one night, and he's just deep in dark depression. And I'm like, what's up, man? What's wrong? He's like, the governor shot down my request to go home and die. So I realized, I already knew it was messed up. That just showed you how fucked up they were. I was like, yeah, they shot my request down, man, to go home and die. told me I will serve out the rest of my sentence. And I now remember I told you he only had a few months till he got out. Why these people wouldn't let him go home and die in the comfort of his family, I don't know. Why they wanted him to die in that cold cell in the back, I don't know. And they weren't doing it. They said he was too far gone to treat it. So they were just pumping him full of oxys and morphine and all these things they could to try to, I guess, just keep him comfortable. So I remember the last time I saw him, man. It's almost like you know, but you don't know because you don't want to accept it. And I'm standing there looking at him, and he just looks like he might already be dead, but he's still barely moving. I said, well, look, man, you hang in there, man. I got a new magazine tonight. I forgot to bring the shit, but I'll bring it over tomorrow, man. I'll bring a CD player down here. Let you check out this Yellow Wolf CD I just copped. I'll see you tomorrow, man. I'll pray for you, man. Hold your head up. Stay strong. You know what I mean? Don't be too loopy on all that shit they got you, man. Stay positive. I'll be back. He's like, all right, man. All right, that's what's up. You know, not with that much energy, you know what I mean? So I go on back to the pod, and I'm sitting there, and it's like maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. The guards walking around, just doing an observation, checking to make sure ain't nobody dug a tunnel with a spoon and escaped. And I hear it come over the radio, and they say his name. They're like, we need assistance at the infirmary immediately, and they call out the code. And as much as I wanted to like chase behind the CO, I couldn't. I could hear what was going on, and it just continued. And then the COs left, and so immediately I go to the control booth, and I'm like, what's going on down there? And they won't tell me. So the next morning, you also go to medical or infirmary at Indian Creek to get your pills, that pill call. I go, they let us out for chow, boom, my beeline straight for the infirmary. And I go inside, and I walk right past the nurse that's at the little station. I go straight to Fly's room. I'm not asking permission. Y'all ain't gonna give me the run around. I'm going to see what's up. I go to his room. He's not in there. None of his stuff is there. So I asked the nurse, I'm like, did y'all have Fly taken to the hospital last night? She's like, no, Fly's not at the hospital. I said, where's Fly? And she just looked at me like, so I just kind of put my head down. Damn, man. Fuck, man. I left out of there, didn't eat, kind of in a daze, kind of like lost. Walked back to the pod, got on the phone, called a couple people that I talked to, told them about Fly, because each night I would talk about Fly to them also. And just like that, he was gone. So I'm sorry about the sad video, man, but I felt I needed to do this, just in memory of the people that I knew that passed. And there was more, but not close to me like them. And if you've got anyone locked up, anyone that's incarcerated that you care about, that you don't really talk to, for whatever reason, you make sure the next time they call, you answer, you tell them you love them. Because tomorrow's not promised. We all deserve, not all, a lot of us deserve, after being sentenced, to just live. It's a messed up, raw deal that some people get, but neither one of those men deserve to die inside of a prison. Mr. Peoples, he was rehabilitated. That man was old. He would have got out and never hurt nobody. Fly never hurt anybody to begin with, but his actions caused somebody to die. And I don't know if that's just life or if karma just got a little too carried away. But if you love somebody, you tell them. Don't wait until it's too late and the clock starts ticking and you only have a limited amount of time with them. So that's it, man. That's just some of the stuff that happens with guys that get sick in prison. And to both y'all, Mr. Peoples, Fly, lay y'all dudes, man. I miss y'all, and I'll see y'all again. So y'all know what it is, man. This is Jay Williams. Let's live life. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope y'all listened to everything I said. Make sure you leave a comment. Hit that thumbs up button, man. I need that. But until next time, man, as always, to all my real ones, salute.
A while back was an alcoholic. Had a mental breakdown like a year ago. Came close to put me in a coffin.